is Tom Kelly from TEAGASC. I want to show you a short presentation, but I also want to talk to you specifically about how we have in TEAGASC in Ireland over many years developed demonstration farm networks, and that these are an essential part of our support for farmers and forestry owners and all other people involved in rural communities. So, we have a very, similar model to many other advisory and research organizations. We have a very strong research centres based in four major centres, and we build around that a demonstration farm network based around what we call monitor farms, which are, I suppose, people who have signed up to become demonstration farms for a number of years. So this is an essential part of our advisory service. We build around those monitor farms at another level, discussion groups where groups of farmers from 6 to up to 30 farmers would come and meet monthly and include within those meetings, some of those meetings would be held on the demonstration farms. So we also have our normal services to all the clients who come to us for various services for EU scheme work, etc. And those clients are dealt with by advisors at each of the offices around the country. And I suppose this forms what we, deal with our farmers within the, if you like, the mainstream of agricultural production systems, but also farmers who are part-time farmers, smaller farmers dealing with lots of issues around public services, etc. So our clients pay us a service for our service. Our demonstration farmers get services at reduced rates, and our discussion group members pay extra to become members of discussion groups. But we are not a fully commercial service, so we are subsidized somewhat by the government. And I suppose the key thing here is that there's no one channel of communications to farmers that we are happy that would reach and meet the needs of every farmer. So all farmers, we look at them slightly differently in terms of how we would and can deliver services to them. So in terms of organised demonstration farmers and farmer-to-farmer learning, we have learned a lot. I suppose demonstrations, on-farm demonstrations, have been part of advisory services forever. But in the last, we'd say 25 or 30 years, we have refined that a good bit, and we have, challenged ourselves to do a really good job on our demonstration farms, so put a big effort in and try and get as much as we can out of it in terms of the value to our farmers, in terms of what they see and what they learn from other farmers at these events. So there are four critical components which I would suggest we have paid particular attention to. The first one is that we rely very heavily on experienced facilitators. These are advisors who have facilitated discussion groups of farmers and have become involved in demonstration farms and are, if you like, carry the load of engaging farmers during those events that are held on demonstration farms, but equally they take responsibility for creating the relationship with the farmer, with the demonstration farmer, and generally it's a relationship built around a trusted level of service over many years in the context of technology, in the context of how the farm is improving and developing over time. The second component is a credible and detailed farm data, and I think again I'm going to I suppose come to these again and a little bit more detail later on. Research, media, and industry backup. I think again we would suggest that being in a position to involve research in what's happening on demonstration farms is really important, because this is the next level from the advisor, is somebody who has a research brief in a very specific area who may be able to help in solving a problem. So again, in terms of media and industry backup, I think we would be very strong that the message needs to get out beyond the people who come to events at demonstration farms. They won't come if all they hear about it is once a year when the results come out. It's too late. They need to be involved continuously, and the way to involve them is very much easier now with social media, with lots of other media channels which have opened up through everything from local radio to all of the social media channels and local newspapers, etc., flyers, etc. And the fourth area is branding and promotion. We oftentimes don't sell what we are doing, and I think we have to become a little bit smarter, and we have become a little bit smarter in doing that. And we've learned that from some of our industry partners within the TEAGASC context. Sorry, I've skipped ahead here. So just to come to the facilitation. So advisors have basic skills in terms of providing technology and advice to farmers. And this is, I suppose, being replaced gradually over the last 30 years in my experience by a new type of advisor who has skills in terms of facilitation. And these skills around planning, listening, questioning, observing, controlling, timekeeping, etc., are the skills that farmers admire when they are part of a facilitated group or event, and that everything seems to work well, and that they have confidence in the advisor, ensuring that the discussion moves on, and that it is a fruitful discussion and beneficial for everybody. So participants who may need encouragement to be involved in the program, this is part again of the responsibility of the facilitator. So again, if this facilitator has to read those situations, and again to giving ownership of the process and decision making around events and around what a particular group will do from year to year, or from event to event becomes very important. So we have publication in that, which is if it's of interest to people. I suppose we are in an age where we have a lot of farm data and new information coming from it. We collect a lot of data. It's very detailed, current, verifiable data, both physical and financial. And we have systems in place to gather that data. The important thing about the data is that it's used. So the demonstration farms provides an ideal opportunity for farmers to benchmark their own individual data against what's happening in the demonstration farms. And this is what we see happening on a routine basis. And it's a huge channel for learning among farmers who are maybe not used to looking at detailed physical or financial data. And again, farmers themselves being the ones that have taken the measurements, be it for grass growth or disease levels in crops or other animal performance figures. These are important, that farmers themselves, they own the measurements, they know the effort that goes into measuring accurately and recording data. And then they're much more likely to use that data in the decision making. Finally, I suppose I would just or not finally, but I would just say that, the research, media and industry backup is something that we've invested heavily in as an organization. I suppose ensuring that there is a consistency and complementarity of information coming from all the different stakeholders, companies, etc., commercial companies, NGOs, other people who are talking to farmers, that we are all more or less saying the same thing, that we have agreed on it. And this has become part of what we do within our demonstration farms. We try to involve other partners so that they can be part of it rather than being on the outside. So what we say is that to influence, to make the change in a practice, messages have to be clear, consistent and repeated. And these experiences from 2 European projects that I'm very familiar with, the Agri-Demo Farmer to Farmer program and Nefertiti Farm Demo program. Both of these, I suppose, examine the science behind it and support it very heavily, the value of quality demonstration farms, helping farmers to learn from each other. And I suppose finally on this slide, I'll just say that, we tend to think of farmers as receivers of information, but we now think of farmers slightly differently, and we accept that almost every change which a farmer's make in itself is an experiment for that farmer and is worthy of our interest, and particularly it's of their advisor's interest and the other farmers' interest as well. So in terms of branding, it's become very commercial world out there with lots of commercial interests, and we see that you have to be very much in the game of putting a brand name or a branding on what you do, so that you get the profile and you get to I suppose the interest of people generally, not just farmers, but also people outside of farming who are influencing their farmer neighbours or whatever. And this, to me, is very important. That having a brand around a program, for example, of demonstration farms on a particular topic, be it an environmental topic or a technology or financial situation, that becomes very much, if you like, a point of interest for the general media, and makes it easier for advisors and farmers to communicate the messages to the broader public and the broader media. So with that, I just want to say a final few words really around the selection of demonstration farms. And we put a good bit of effort in TEAGASC, and we have done over the years, in terms of selecting farmers who are, I suppose, more suitable for the role of a demonstration farm. And the most important thing is the enthusiasm of the farmer for an interest in the topic, or whether it's an environmental or a technology, I suppose, mission that they're engaging in. They don't have to be the really high-performing farm, but more often than not they are, or they become very high-performing while they're in the program. So they may not start at the very top level of performance, but they can become very, very very high performing in terms of whatever it is, physical, financial performance. I suppose the most important thing is their status in the community, how they're looked on by other farmers. So if they are trusted, they are open to new ideas, they have a credibility among their peers, then that becomes really important. And I think again we see more and more they have good, the better demonstration farms are those that have a nice or good network are built around them of family and friends, etc., and industry collaborators or people who work with them. And for that's a really good, I suppose, starting point for a farmer. And then in relation to the farm, if I think our experience has told us that the farm should not be too complex. In other words, it can't have 50 different enterprises running all flat out at the same time. They need to have farmer which is reasonably straightforward in terms of what business they're in, and if they're in milk production or if they're in beef production or cereals or vegetable crops, then that's what they do, and that's what the demonstration farm is aimed at. I think other smaller things around this general farm itself, it's nice to have a farm that looks attractive, that is neat, etc., that has all of the required safety components within it, that has good environmental features, and that has lots of data, both physical, financial, environmental data. In terms of funding, we don't pay our demonstration farms anything, but we do provide them with reduced fees for services, and sometimes they don't pay anything for their services. So there is a small incentive there, but it's relatively small, and it's not really the main attraction for people to join the service. So I think that that's, I suppose one other point, and it's an important point, is that a single demonstration farm will find it very hard to survive if they are the only demonstration farm, for example, in a particular area, a particular topic or enterprise. If there are a number of demonstration farms, even though they might be quite a distance apart, they can form a very valuable network that operates at a level which is really useful to other farmers as well, because they are engaging outside of their own region, maybe with other farmers who are specialists in a specific area, and that value of that network is really important, particularly when there are challenges like severe weather, or there are other issues, low prices, etc., scarcity of commodities or whatever that has or inputs, for lack of changes of inputs on farms. But these can become really valuable in terms of solving the problem and finding a solution. So with that, I'm going to leave it for any other questions. Thank you very much.